Hey guys, and welcome back to Tom Spark Reviews. Today we're going to be giving you 5 reasons not to buy NordVPN, and then also 5 reasons maybe you should consider to buy it. But wait, Tom, why should we listen to you? You're just some random guy on the internet, right? Wrong. I'm not just some random guy. I'm the guy who created the first VPN tier list. Now, I've pretty much created every single VPN out there, and this is something no one else has ever done. I've been doing this for around 5 years now, and I've probably spent thousands of hours of reviewing VPNs. And that means these reviews are the most accurate on the internet, bar none. This video is simply my opinion, an unbiased, objective listing of the pros and cons of NordVPN as a service, helping you decide if you should buy it or not. If you decide you like the pros more than the cons, consider using my link in the description or pinned comment below, and you should be able to get the best active deal with NordVPN going on right now. Anyways, guys, let's get into some of the pros and cons. So guys, one of the first pros with NordVPN is that it's just a big VPN. They have a lot of money, they have a lot of investments, and you can see in certain areas of the service this really does show. For example, their server network. They probably have one of the biggest server networks out there in the world with over 5,239 servers in 60 plus countries. NordVPN has never really had an issue having servers in my area, and for a lot of people this holds true. In one of my speed tests I did a couple of years ago on the channel, NordVPN actually did really good performance for specific people around the world and had decent results overall throughout the world as well. So having a big server network and stuff like this is definitely a good thing about NordVPN. Next, we could talk kind of the flip side of that. Since NordVPN is such a big VPN provider, it could have you run into issues with blacklisted IPs, or some services out there might block you from using it. I remember back in the day when private internet access was one of the most popular VPNs, I would have people come on the channel and tell me that some websites had blacklisted private internet access IPs, and I wouldn't be surprised if this happens with NordVPN sometimes. Once certain services recognize IPs from a certain VPN, they can blacklist them. Having more users on a VPN service does mean that the VPN has to put more work into unblocking certain things, certain websites. So that's something to keep in mind with NordVPN. Although I have to say, usually it does work pretty well with Netflix. It does work with the US version of Netflix and most other streaming services. However, I can't say for certain if it works as flexibly with, tons of regions out there. Some other VPNs could be better for specific niche case unblocking streaming services that are less popular and drawing less attention. So that's also something to think about. Another thing that could be a con with NordVPN's huge size is that it could be victim to more attacks and data breaches. That's something we've seen in the past. They did have some issues there, but going into more of a pro, one of the good things about Nord now is that it does seem more interested in kind of shoring up some of those vulnerabilities, and they've even done things like public audits and promised that better security. So that's also something to think about. Leading into a pro, again, having a huge company and having a lot of investment and money could be a good thing for you as a NordVPN fan, because most likely it means they're not going anywhere. NordVPN has never sold its company to anyone else, and likely its big size guarantees it most likely won't. In fact, NordVPN is much more likely to acquire other companies and move them under its parent company, Teslanet. So NordVPN has recently kind of partnered up, or kind of acquired, or always kind of worked with, I'm not really sure the right terminology there. Atlas VPN is kind of their free VPN market choice. Other VPNs like Surfshark, they've also worked with in the past and kind of helped them bootstrap their company. News just came out kind of about that. So NordVPN definitely is a powerhouse in the industry, and that could be a good thing depending on your perspective, not having to worry about it selling out to some other company. We've seen other companies like ExpressVPN do that, for example. I'm not sure NordVPN is going to go that route. I think it would just be too expensive of a buy for other companies like Cape to do. So yeah, I think it's more likely that they will buy other VPNs. Now, one of the other things about NordVPN being a big company is that it does have kind of a lot of peripheral kind of things you could take advantage of. Take, for example, you have all sorts of different things here with NordVPN. You have like their Nord security, which is their overall idea of the company. You have Nord Layer, which is kind of like a business implementation, and then or like cloud stuff. You also have NordPass, which is their password manager, and even an encrypted file solution as well. So if you really like Nord, they do present a good ecosystem kind of idea that will let you stay within the ecosystem and be pretty convenient and intuitive to use their different products, which is a cool thing for some people who really like Nord. Now that said, talking about more of NordVPN's core offering, their core application, I would say it's pretty good. It's pretty intuitive, easy to set up, and it gets the job done. It doesn't have every feature in the world and could use some improvements here or there, but it's a decent application and it is available for most every platform. That said, another con could be that some of the applications like Linux are a little bit basic. They do have a Linux CLI or command line interface application. However, that said, it doesn't have like what would I call a GUI for Linux. So there you go. It's just kind of like a CLI, not quite the same level of Linux support as some other VPNs out there that support full GUIs on Linux. So think about that maybe. So we could also talk about pricing, and if you click on my link, like I said, you should be able to get the best deals as seen here. One of the good things about NordVPN is that it's decently affordable long term. It's only around $89 for the first 2 years, so a pro could be that long term it's not a badly priced VPN. However, on the flip side, you have to make sure that you're willing to think about what happens after those first 2 years. After the first 2 years, it will increase to around $100 a month, I do believe, at least the last time I checked. So for those people who, you got to kind of keep track of those price increases, which is a flip side of that. Like I said, NordVPN, the pro, is they do have long-term deals, which are good, and but the flip side is they do increase after the first 2 years. And another kind of flip side of that is that they always kind of have sales going on for the most part, and they always kind of market it as this unique thing. But when in reality is all year long, there's pretty much some sale going on. So just kind of keep that into consideration when thinking about how urgently you should purchase it. All right, guys, those are some of my pros and cons for NordVPN. Overall, it's a decent VPN and rates decently high on my tier list. It's got good speeds, decent applications, and it's definitely a marketing juggernaut. Probably the biggest VPN out there, which for some people could be a really good reason to buy it. If you guys like this video, let me know down in the comments and pros and cons. Let me know down in the comments, like this video if you like this video, and let me know down in the comments down below if you want to see more kind of unbiased, pretty objective pros and cons for videos like this one. You can also check out the reviews, which are more analytical and fact-based, kind of putting things in terms of points and ranking the VPNs. These videos are more discussion-based, kind of broadening out our thoughts and opinions on the product. Let me know if you like that idea and if you want to see more videos like these, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.